The next delegation is Amy Susanna Compton from Waterloo. Amy Susanna, welcome. You have the floor, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair and councillors. I've had difficulty drafting a response to this report on the corn shredding. The regional staff report identifies as a blatant lack of democratic process and accountability. It reads like fiction, but somehow this is the reality here in Waterloo Region. The report stated financial implications were NA, not applicable. Are our taxpayers supposed to believe that there were no financial implications in shredding 160 acres of field corn? What did you pay the farmers from Strathroy for their labor? What did you compensate them for the fuel of traveling with large equipment that distance? We've been told it could be many thousands of dollars. Those are direct financial implications, and they shouldn't be denied or hidden in an investigative report. Besides, those direct financial implications are all the implications of what the corn could have sold for, either in 5 weeks as silage or in 10 weeks as mature corn. That money first had to be compensated to the farmer who sold their land before harvest, but could have been made back by actually selling the corn. 2 financial losses on the same crop, all paid by our tax dollars. That waste of hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars is unacceptable and should be stated in this report. Under Section 5 of the report is a long list of the studies that need to be completed on this site. Why couldn't a few less invasive studies have been completed during the few weeks that the corn would have taken to mature to silage, instead of giving it the highly invasive study first? Another reality is that we remain unwilling hosts. The facts in this report show that we, the farmers and the community, have more knowledge of this land and its value, yet we remain completely ignored. Had you asked any of the local farmers, they would have told you that there were harvest options earlier than 12 weeks away. The report states that the land was not being assembled for any specific business or end user. So why was there such a tight, manufactured timeline? Even the original timeline, also given alongside the threat of expropriation, was that the farmers and landowners were to be expropriated in August. That would have given you time for a mature corn crop. The March to August timeline is a very short timeline in comparison to other land assemblies, as has been noted by several local journalists. But looking at how the timeline is framed inside the beginning and ending of the growing season, I can draw but 2 conclusions. Either this plan was drawn up by someone very ignorant of agriculture, and if so, why would someone with so little of understanding of what they were doing be put in charge of such a significant land assembly? Or it was intentional. I'm not sure which is worse. If there were 6 established technology businesses that needed to move, there would be discussions, negotiations, and an appropriate timeline established between all parties. No one would do this to a tech company or an industrial company or an educational establishment. Why is it acceptable to overturn the established careers, businesses, and homes and farmers in such a short timeline? In a time of significant food insecurity, where the Food Bank of Waterloo Region reports 1 in 10 local households struggle to put food on the table, how was the destruction of a growing food source ever considered while establishing your manufactured timeline? Over the next few weeks, many of you will be attending Oktoberfest, a staple celebration in the region. The sauerkraut on your sausages comes from one of our farms in Wilmot. The cheese curds on your poutine and gourmet pizza comes from another of our farms threatened by this proposed mega site. Dairy products are linked to our farms in Wilmot. Councillors, you should be proud of what we produce in Wilmot, proud enough to protect it. You should be celebrating what our agriculture provides our community, our region, and our country, not destroying 160 acres of that produce. I find the term used in this report of generational investment an odd way of describing this land assembly. When cared for, farmland lasts forever. That's a generational investment. I have yet to encounter a functional factory as old as the fields my great-great-grandparents settled here in the region. This report isn't an investigation as promised. It was prepared by the Economic Development Department and reviewed by the same department. There appears to be no outside review and no one to hold the report to account. It's one-sided, just like this land assembly. I call for our regional official plan to once again be taken seriously. I call for the countryside line to be restored, and for any mega industrial sites to be located in a better place than in the middle of our best farmland. I call for the accountability and for the transparency we have been asking for since March. And I call for you, councillors, to stand up and support our unwillingness to host this land assembly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see no questions. Thank you for coming in.